Hello, friends, and welcome to another edition of Trust the Tape, where it's been a minute, so I have forgotten which buttons are which, but I think my name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
And I think that said my name is Jeff, but I don't know.
It
'Cause I don't
did.
wear,
It did.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, because I don't wear headphones. And this is I'm going to give you titles. The president and CEO of Crown Global Media, and of the Doing All Right podcast, and of the G-Bag Nation, and of the Break, and of is Love the Star.
Love the Star. Yeah.
My God, it's former Cowboy scout Bryan Broaddus.
Hey, Bri.
How you doing, Bri?
Jeffrey, good. How you feeling, buddy?
Better, not great. Yesterday was
Okay.
I was popping an impressive 101.3 fever. That was great.
Did it make you kind of crazy? Kind of they make you even more crazy.
It just made me so tired.
Yeah.
Yesterday I spent from bed to couch to bed, and today I do not have a fever, so I'll go back to work. I don't feel good, but I don't have a fever, so I will go back to work because I won't get people sick.
Yeah, get Clarence and Jesse and all them sick. That'd be good.
No, see, I am the guy who, like, I don't want to miss work. I'm like guilty conscience guy. I'm like, oh, they're going to think I'm faking it. I can't miss work. They're going to think I'm faking it, which is probably just because I was, like, back in the day, I was a bad kid. I missed everything and I didn't need to miss anything. But now I'm an adult and I never want to miss. And I miss because Jesse Holly is like, you are not coming to work sick. You ain't getting me sick. And I'm like,
I don't blame Jesse Holly. I mean, I'm the fight through it guy, but now I become the listen. If you're sick, please don't get me sick. I'm that guy. But anyway,
fair. It's fair.
Here we are.
Seth is first. Shout out to Seth being the first one in the chat, and shout out to everybody who's in the chat as we get going here. It's good to see you guys. Welcome into Trust the Tape. During the depths, this is the depths of the off season. There was a guy this morning where I was like, all right, guys, look, we're in it now. There ain't nothing happening for a month.
Watch us.
We're in it now. And I was like, what do you guys want to hear about? Because, you want people to help you with the content ideas. What do you want to hear? It gives me ideas. I want ideas. And one guy said, take 2 weeks off, make people miss your content and make you miss making it. And I was like, that sounds like a great idea, but I have a job. And what is unique about the job is they're very proud of the fact that 5 days a week, no matter what, you will have an hour of Cowboys content. So the deal, Cowboys podcast don't stop.
We don't stop.
But we can come up with stuff. We can figure it out.
Stuff for you. Can I ask you a question I asked Vach Lombardi last night?
Son of a biscuit. Yeah, sure you can.
I asked Vach this question, by the way, the Doing All Right. You can catch that on Vach's YouTube channel.
Vach Lombardi.
Vach Lombardi.
Has he hit 100,000 yet? He's getting close.
No, he's getting close. But I mean, I think he's like 800 something away.
99.1 thousand for Vach.
Yeah, good for him. He's doing a great job. I asked Vach this question last night because we played a game called Last Chance, No Chance.
Okay.
And I went through, and it's you talk about digging deep. I went through not the players that we always talk about. I went through the depth of the roster. But I want to ask you about one particular player. And I want to ask you about Deuce Vaughn.
Oh, I knew who you were going to say. I knew you were going to say Deuce.
Well, I was just curious. I was just curious because I think the other ones you could kind of make like with Jalen Brooks. I asked about Jalen Brooks. I asked him about John Stevens. I asked about TJ Bass, Tyrus Wheat, Damone Clark. And then I also asked him about Josh Butler, just to kind of get a feel where that's all at. But I was just curious your take on Deuce Vaughn.
I haven't quit on Deuce Vaughn. I hope that he gets a fair shake at still trying to make this team. That's what I hope. I know a lot of people think that it has been over. It was over, it's been over, and it is over.
Sure.
I'm still interested in seeing Deuce Vaughn in training camp. What I'm very interested in, and I don't remember if you told me this or if it was one of my scoops guys that I work with, that on the uptake right now with the rookies, that some of them get things faster than others. And some of the ones that don't seem to be getting it as fast as some of the others are the running backs. And so, like, I think Deuce Vaughn is going to take a roster spot that Jaden Blue was drafted for. I do not.
Sure. But
is there a world where Deuce Vaughn, if it's one of the vet guys, whether it's Javonte or Miles Sanders, Jaden Blue, and Deuce Vaughn with Hunter Lipke doing weird stuff. I haven't quit Deuce Vaughn.
Sure.
I think there is absolutely still a chance that is an NFL rotational running back that you can also do some fun stuff with. He is last chance. He is last chance.
Last chance. Okay. I think he's no chance myself.
You son of a.
And I only say this because I feel like that it's run its course. There's probably going to be flashes and training camp and all that. I just think his lack of height limits him. I think it limits him for what he can do. I think if he's the third running back, he needs to be able to play the special teams. I live this with Jerry Jones. I live the whole third running back needs to be this guy that does, all that. And I respect the hell out of Deuce Vaughn. And when you say stuff like that, you're really trying to cover up for how you feel. But I do respect the guy. I think he was a hell of a college football player. And I think there's some people that really do believe with his offensive line coach in here, it might unlock some things with him, But the scheme, yeah, it's going to be about running. Great. That fits. But if he's not the starter, and Bill Parcells used to tell me this all the time, told all of us this all the time. When I take you to the game, how many plays are you going to give me? How many plays are you going to give me? If you're not the starter, how many plays are you going to give me? I don't think you could have Deuce Vaughn on the game day, the 48 or whatever that number is now, and only play 6 plays. I don't. I would rather carry an extra linebacker, extra edge, somebody. I'd rather carry something else than if you're just giving me 6. And I don't think they've ever figured out how to use Deuce Vaughn. And Schottenheimer's been here with Deuce Vaughn. And I don't think they've ever figured it. And I don't know if they ever will figure it out with him.
Yeah,
I blame that on the coaches. I don't blame that on Deuce Vaughn. But maybe this whole thing, this whole rise about, offensive line coach is here. And, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But to me, I think his lack of height, and I think really the coaches, a lack of a plan for him is the thing that's ultimately going to get him.
Yeah, I think you've talked me into it because
I'm not trying to talk you into anything. I'm just saying why you shouldn't give up on Deuce Vaughn.
No. But
I don't trust anybody to use Deuce Vaughn the right way. How about that?
No, I think it's a good point though. Like for Deuce Vaughn to be on the 53, and maybe
that's one thing. Inactive every week,
Right.
He's inactive every week, and okay.
Yeah, to get to the 46 or whatever.
I think it's 48 with the
48.
guy. Yeah.
He would have to take Jaden Blue's job. And I don't think that's happening. So, yeah, maybe it is no chance because you're not going to carry a third running back whose job is just to play running back. And I think if you want to do the fun stuff with Deuce Vaughn, if we're being honest with ourselves, Brian, Kevontae Turpin's better at it.
I watched the Thursday practice where they lined up CD and Turpin in the backfield. They do the toss, so they're practicing crack toss is what they're practicing with CD and also Turpin. But then there was a play where Turpin just got the ball, like Dak carried the ball to him, take the snap, carry the ball to him, and then now they're on the left side, and here we go.
Yeah, that's
Turpin is really good at that stuff.
Brian, that's because receivers are better at running back than running backs are, because running backs are just running backs. I'm just telling you.
Drono says Deuce will go to the Chiefs and be a Pro Bowler. If that's the case,
Good for him.
I will, I'll acknowledge that. But I am also saying, Dro, that they might not know how to use him. They might not have a good or a suitable plan for how to use him. And that's why I think he's got no chance. It's sure physical limitations. Yes. How to use him. Yes. They have it. Prove to me you've got a plan. And like I said, he's got to be able to play special teams if he's not the starter. He's got to play.
Well, I think you could be the second guy. Like if it's but he's not going to be that either.
No, but see, that's the thing about it is the pass blocking stuff, the catching stuff. I mean, there's things you could do with it, but it's limited. That's what I'm saying about this. To me, there's nothing that he could absolutely hang his hat on to say, okay, I deserve to be on this 53 because of that.
No, he needs to find a place where somebody's going to give him a chance to really be an NFL running back, not do bits and expect him to, like, he needs to be somewhere where he's
They're already
doing
bits. They're doing bits already in OTAs and mini camps. They're putting CeeDee Lamb and, they're already telling you that, let's just put our wide receivers in the backfield and try and do things.
Yeah, because they know that they're going to be active on game day. So might as well work with those guys. No chance for Deuce. No chance.
I don't like I say, I will always admit when I'm wrong about this one. I'm just trying to say from a personnel man standpoint, if I'm going to fight for Deuce, where do I fight? How do I fight for him? How do I fight for him?
The way you fight for him is you say, guys, you guys need to stop hating on him because he's tiny and hand him the ball and give him a real chance to be a real running back.
And see if he could be the real running back. See if he could be, in fact, I personally, I agree with TB here. I would rather have Blue doing whatever plan you want Deuce to do. I agree. Because I've seen, but let's be honest too. Deuce Vaughn's career at Kansas State was All-American worthy.
Yeah, and he was the dude. And then you're going to just pretend that he can't be the dude. Like, you have to. Somebody would have to give him a chance.
It's like they didn't have a plan for him to begin with. It's like McCarthy and his crew. And Schottenheimer has been here as this has gone along. So we'll see. We'll see.
Landlord Sports. What's happening, Jeff and Brian? Salute. When I went to camp and seen Deuce in person, I was all the way out on him. Little legs is what I call him. See, now we're hating on short people. You can't do that. No. It's not allowed anymore. You're not allowed. You got to be nice.
I think his limitations of his height hurts him in some pass blocking stuff, which is they're going to ask him to do. Blitz pickup. He is going to be more, and it hurts him on special teams. If he's on punt return as a blocker, it hurts. Kickoff return, blocker. I mean, it hurts.
What if you ran him? What if you ran him as the guy who lays down on kick return and nobody knows he's there? And then when he pops up, you still don't know he's there because he's tiny. And now he's got the ball and he's out of there.
And got to make a tackle. Yeah, you got to do all that. If we're gonna lay down and get up, we got to make a tackle every once in a while too.
All right, Brian, you ruined the whole show because I made a title and everything, and now we're 12 minutes.
No. Position. I'm going to say this. The title of this was, what position do you trust the most? Or
positions like on the Cowboys that you can trust.
Quarterback.
And I also have the ones that you can't trust.
Quarterback.
Is that number one?
Yeah. I trust his quarterback. Fight me.
I don't want to fight you. I'm pro Dak, but that is more pro Dak than me. I'm pro Dak.
I think the quarterback's going to be fine.
What does fine? What does fine mean? Like the guy who was second team like 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think his health. I think he's in a good spot. I think Mike McCarthy out of the building is probably a good thing for him.
Oh,
yeah. Let's be honest.
I forgot you hate Mike. I forgot.
I've only made it personal with Jason Garrett. I didn't make it personal with Mike McCarthy. Jason Garrett was the only one I made it personal with.
It was professional hate for McCarthy.
Yeah, because I knew I'd been in Green Bay and I'd been in Dallas, so I kind of knew I knew what was going on.
Yeah. It was personal with Bobby Belt. I tell you that. I've never heard a man hate a coach.
Bobby's so happy. Bobby, I outlasted that bastard. One of those things. I will say this though, quarterback. Yes, quarterback's going to be fine. I feel confident in the edges in this group. I feel confident in those guys.
See, I put them in my top three, and I thought we were going to fight about the edges because you were going after the edges for the run defense, and I was going to have to give the caveat that I'm okay with.
I just wanted to point out, as fans, dig a little deeper. Get your NFL.com package. Go and look. You don't have to be a scout. You don't. You can watch the games. You can watch the end zone copies and see what's happening. When you don't, it's real simple. When you don't see jersey numbers play and run, when they get turned, that's bad. When you see jersey numbers, that's good. It's real simple. If everybody
spend that $100 a year for on NFL Pro and get up in there, you know what I'm saying?
There's no doubt. I mean, if you really, really, really want to learn, you can become a more educated fan. Listening to our broadcasts. I mean, hell, we're not always right, but if we don't know, I'm going to ask somebody. I'm always going to ask somebody. Now, Clarence Hill is the opposite. He's not going to ask anybody. He's going to say whatever he damn wants. By the way, your boy Clarence, I love him. I've never met a man who asked me my opinion and fought me on my opinion.
He loves it. He loves it. Everything he says.
What do you think? And I'm like, well, I think this. Oh, you're full of shit. Oh, yeah. I'm like, okay. All right. Why'd you ask me for my opinion then?
And he could agree with you and he would still fight you. Clarence is here to fight.
Yeah. But
he's here to fight.
Yeah, I think to me, quarterback, edge. But look at the edges. Look at the edge. I mean, if this offense, because we had this whole discussion a couple weeks ago, and you guys did a good job on your program. Which do you have more confidence in? You have defense. By the way, all the new coaches are on the offensive side of the ball, and a lot of them don't have NFL experience. If that means anything to you.
It does. Well, I don't mind that. I don't mind that because.
But is it something like, oh, well, you have confidence? So I've like confidence in this offense. A lot of the coaches are college wide receiver coach, college offensive line coach.
I don't mind that at all. The coach that I kind of worry about is the head coach, just because I think the process to get to him, 31 other teams weren't hiring Brian Schottenheimer to be a head coach. So that part of it, I'm like, but the fact that his staff is comprised of guys that aren't just his homies, that's encouraging to me.
That to me is more encouraging than anything. Charles Miller asked, why trust him? He can't win in the end. That's true. But I mean, I don't feel as bad about him as a lot of people do.
Yeah, and
I think his health, I think the fact that McCarthy's no longer in the building is also a big help for him. I think Schottenheimer's going to try and do things. We'll see. I think the addition of George Pickens as a bad ball receiver can absolutely help Ferguson. We'll see what happens. You went out and you got a right guard. We'll see how these are. I just think the offense in general is going to be better. I do worry about the coaches' lack of experience as NFL coaches, and that might just prove just fine. I mean, that might be, might be something I don't have to worry about. This quarterback, I think is on a mission. I do believe he's on a mission now. And people say, well, why was he on a mission before? Well, he's starting to hear the noise even more now. He's starting to hear his health problems. Like Charles Miller said, you can't win. He is on a mission now. And I say this, I trust him to not have a bad season. That's me. Now, we'll see what happens, Charles, at the very, very end. We'll see. In 2 years' time, it might be Dak Prescott has shown the door. It was a nice 11-year run. That's it. We're moving on. But right now, if you said trust, I'll trust him to be better than he was last year. Hell, he couldn't be any worse.
Yeah, I trust that Dak will be.
I trust because I think the coaches will help him. I think these coaches will help him. And here I'm talking about, well, they're not NFL, but I think they'll come with ideas. I think this guy as a play caller will be better than what Mike McCarthy was. That's where I trust Dak. Because
I think that's exciting if that happens. If it turns out that you've got a really good play caller, I will be very excited about that.
We've seen the quality play callers around the league be able to help quarterbacks. And I think Dak, with better health, better weapons, we'll see. We'll see.
I trust Dak to be at least solid. Now, I cheated on the guys that I trust the most. Now, it's not cheating. I just don't know if most people would allow you to use this position. The guy I trust the most is easily
the kicker. Yeah, and
the kicker the most.
Yeah, and I don't know to be a smart football guy or gal, that would be a good position to start with. I
don't know if that's a good thing. If you say, yeah, the thing I trust the most is the kicker. I'd really like it to be something that has a little bit more impact more consistently. But I put the kicker as number one.
Oh, sure. You're not wrong.
I put wide receiver at number 2.
I actually had them at number 3.
Because, George Pickens is a baller. Now, a lot's going to come down to.
He is.
A lot's going to come down to a group that I didn't put in trust or can't trust. It's a we'll see, which is the offensive line. I think that'll have a lot to say about the way that this goes. But I think you went from not trusting wide receivers to absolutely trusting wide receivers with one trade. Going from, and you could
for 1 year, you fix this thing.
Yeah, and he's probably going to have, if he has a great year, they're not going to sign him. And if he has a bad year, then they might sign him. And then I don't even know. I don't even know what their plan is long term. But I do appreciate that it's the opposite of Jerry the last couple of years. When we show up to training camp and we tell you why the team's going to fail, we say, oh, well, that group's not good enough. Neither is that one. And then that comes true. And they never do anything about it. This time it was like they've got to find a complement for CeeDee Lamb. And they went and found the best one possible, just in terms of talent. And so, yeah, I trust that the wide receivers are going to be really good. If you're ranking them in the NFL, it's a top 5 group comfortably. I think the wide receivers will be really good. And then I went edge/quarterback as my top 3.
So you had quarterback in the top 3, though?
He was tied. I tied him. I had him tied with Micah.
Nobody loves the tie more than you.
I love a tie.
You'd be great 1958 football. Oh, look, Notre Dame and Michigan State tie, national championship, 10-10. Here we go. Yeah.
Look, when you're doing
greatest game in college football history.
I limited myself to 3 in my mind for each group of trust and not trust. And because I went with 3, a tie is how you get extra content in. No, so I can put the edges and
you and Dane Burglar figured out the cheater grades.
Yeah. I'm doing some cheater grades. Yeah. I'm crushing it. I trust Dak mostly. I do worry about his getting older and the body and its different body parts every year. I do worry about that stuff.
I think he's willing to spend his last dime to make sure his health is the optimum it could be.
Well, I hope he's practicing wind sprints, I hope he's practicing.
Oh, no. I mean, I walk by the windows. The windows. You walk by, he's moving around, bouncing around pretty good. I'm like going, oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
See what you're doing out there? Hey, listen.
Isn't the super chat play design matters just as much? McCarthy is dated. I just don't know where the massive optimism, like Schottenheimer's been in the league a long time and nobody's ever been like, man, look at this incredibly innovative, but hey, I want to believe. So leave me alone. Don't let me be the one tearing people down. Jotman is saying Shotty will be a play caller for Dak Bryan's version of Vach saying we're no longer going to have wide receivers running upfield and turning around.
Yeah.
Saying Shotty will be a play caller for. Yeah. Just do stuff that's not as boring.
Yeah, but it's funny. Pro Football Focus, and tell me if I'm right or wrong about this.
Don't worry about them. Worry about them.
I think there's things I absolutely hate they do. Like they hate me. Those guys. Every year we interview those guys at Pro Football Focus at the Super Bowl. That you could just feel the disdain for me on that stage. But
John Hoening and I got in a fight on Twitter a couple of years ago about something. I think I was making.
John's a great guy, and John fights.
Yes, we made up at training camp. We fight all the time. I just walked over to him and I was like, "Hey, I know that I think we have each other blocked on Twitter, and it was something a couple of years ago. I don't even remember. So whatever it was, my bad, man. How you doing?" And so we're good again. But yeah, like
okay. Anyway,
yeah.
Pro Football Focus, whether you like them or not,
I like their stats.
They put out the routes, the best receivers routes, who the top route runners at certain routes.
Yeah, I support that. Yeah, that's good.
Dallas Cowboys had 2 receivers in one category. Tell me the category that it's CD and Pickens. They're the top 3 of this one route. What is it? And I don't agree with them. I'm going to go on record and saying that right now.
Okay, they're saying that they are top 3. I mean, Pickens is a good straight down the field guy. CD is too, honestly. But
okay. Then this is a terrible point.
Oh, is that what they went with? The go route?
They went with the go. They said
I don't think that CD's the guy they use on it a ton, but just the skill set of if it's him and somebody else and you put that ball in the air, yeah, CD will outplay somebody for a ball. And Pickens has always been a good deep ball guy. So I get it.
Okay.
Well,
they had the one category that they had Dallas listed in that I was looking for. Okay, what are Pickens and Lamb in any of these? The in, the slant, the dig, the cross, whatever. No, it was the go. It had Pickens and it had Lamb in the go route. And I don't remember CD being a go route guy. Am I wrong?
I mean, I don't know. I bet we could sort and look it up. Like how often they throw it to him, and I don't know how often that is. I feel like they throw it to their other guys more often because they have the single coverage. And yeah, it's like, all right, another go ball to Turpin. That's going to work out great. But I was surprised when I saw earlier this offseason how high up in the league Dak is at throwing the deep ball and how efficient it is and how often they do it. I was surprised. I think he was like in the top 2 in the league at how often they do it and how well they do it. And I'm like, man, it sure didn't feel that way. But yeah, I think CD's a good go ball guy, and Pickens is absolutely a good go ball guy.
Wow, then you surprised me there because I kind of felt like that it was going to be. I don't really see I don't really see CD and all the vertical stuff, and maybe it's just me.
Well, they just throw him a butt ton of slants, like any chance.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. It was in slants, drags. I was kind of thinking, okay.
But that's the beauty of all this. The beauty of all of this is, Bryan, the offense. We're back to my favorite version of offense, if that's true. Dak catches the ball.
Yeah.
Pats it twice.
Mm-hmm.
Throws it as far as you can. It's called the PTB2. Pat that bitch 2 times. Throw it as far as you can. 3 times if the protection will hold up, but I don't know if it will. So the PTB2 is back, and I'm excited about that. It's going to be fun. Please, Guyton, be able to block. That's why we're getting all this Brevin Span Ford talk. They're like, we don't trust our left tackle. Go ahead and get the biggest tight end you can and stand him next to him. That's how we're going to get the ball to Lamb. And
if he is just good, this year.
Who?
Guyton.
Oh, if Guyton's good this year, then we're talking
just good.
We're talking about winning 12 games instead of 8. I think Guyton is a huge factor. Like Clarence got so mad at me. It started with Joe Hoyt. He got mad at Joe and then mad at me because I stood up for Joe and I agreed with Joe, where he said it was something along the lines of like, if he's passable, I'm like, absolutely, I would take that. That would be a win. How bad he was last year. If he's passable, if he's okay, if you're telling me he's good, I'm doing backflips.
Yeah.
If I have good left tackle play, boy, I'm partying.
What if he's the same as Steele?
It's good enough to make you competitive. But boy, it also means you have days where you're like, oh, 2 turnstiles.
No, just not. Don't. Yeah, just.
If he's as good as
if he's as good as he has the same issues that Steele has.
Dak's gonna get hurt. I mean, I think that is better than he was as a rookie. But I'm looking. I mean, I need him to be better than that. Because I'm replacing Steele after this year too. We gotta protect our damn quarterback.
I'll tell you what was interesting that I saw from the OTA practices. The one that I got to go to last Wednesday was that Nate Thomas, the guard from Louisiana. Remember, he was in training camp. We watched him. He got injured, and then he was gone for the rest of the year. That him is the second right tackle.
Okay.
Who's normally he was a guard, but they had him at second. He was.
Yeah, I mean, who else would it be? Awesome.
Awesome was on the left side.
Okay, so that's your backup. Yeah. Well, how many are you keeping?
Probably 2. Yeah, Hoffman, but I just thought it was interesting. I just thought it was interesting that a guy that was a projected guard is your backup at right tackle right now.
I support that. I'm looking for an unknown offensive lineman to step up and be somebody. I'm in the market for that. The 3 positions I cannot trust on this team, Bryan Broaddus.
Defensive tackle,
running back,
corner.
That's my 3. Running back, defensive tackle, corner. Yeah. And corner would be such a different thing if the season started in November.
They won't know, by the way, of Diggs' availability until mid-August, from what I was told.
Yeah, and when are they going to know Revels? I feel like that's just a wait and see too. Like you can be more optimistic about it.
I think the Revel one is more optimistic than the Lamb one. Or excuse me, Diggs.
Like, do you think that they are planning that in week 1, Revel is a starting corner?
I think they're planning on him being a part of the opening day. Yeah.
So Revel, Elam, Bland.
I tell you what, Elam is so funny. I was watching a practice with Aisha Morrison the other day. And it's funny that Elam made a play. He carried a route where they tried to isolate him on Lamb by spacing. So they put the tight end outside. So they tried to create width in the formation and then try to create width in the defense. And Elam went and covered Lamb and the ball went inside and Elam knocked it down. And I'm like, damn, another media day of Elam making a play. And Aisha goes, that's about the 3rd interception he's dropped this. I'm like, so he can't catch.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well,
yeah. She's like, no, we watch practice and he struggles catching the ball.
That's
I'm like,
okay. Most of them can't. Diggs is
I know.
Diggs and Bland are unique. Most corners can't catch.
I know.
If they could catch, they wouldn't play corner.
Yeah.
It's not made up. It's real life.
Ooh.
Yeah. So Can't Trust was pretty easy. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.
Be sure to tune in to Trust the Tape next week. Wait, what's today? Later this week for another edition of Is It the Hot Dog or Is It the Bun?
This is the hot dog bun. I think it's a hot dog too.
Thanks, Brian. I'll catch up with you. Shout out to our boy Jack. Sorry I wasn't there, but congratulations. Sorry I wasn't invited. Am I sorry I wasn't invited? Congratulations to our boy Jack.
There were a lot of friends. There were a lot of people came up to me, and I was talking about this wedding I was in South Carolina, and they're like, "Oh, wow, I would have gone if." And I'm like, I think that's why they had the wedding in South Carolina. They just didn't want a lot of folks showing up. But hey, we got to figure out a way to get to Italy for David Hellman's wedding now, right? We got to go all the way.
He's getting married on my birthday, so I'm excited. I'm taking a
end of May, right? End of May.
Yes. May? Yeah. We don't need to give too many deets. Have people trying to track down Dave during his wedding in Italy. But yeah. I'll be there. No, it's fine.
Did they say they were getting married in Italy? We didn't say. Italy's a big country.
It is a big country.
You don't know where. It could be anywhere in Italy.
Yeah, it's going to be right there in the ocean. Or the sea, whichever one's there. Good luck finding us, everybody. It'll be fine. Thanks, Brian. I'll catch up with you. Thursday?
Yeah, we'll see what we can do. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe Brian will have a wedding. Maybe I'll get 6 more. Who knows?
Who knows?
Thanks for stopping by, everybody.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Going to be cool. Everybody love you. Be easy. Bye.